Hi, Eric Lanask here. We're here at ITEXPO at the Rio in Las Vegas. I'm talking with Netsapiens co-founder and CEO, Anand Buch. Anand, thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
So I guess a couple of things that are probably worth talking about right now. Maybe start with contact centers and specifically what you're seeing and how you're addressing some of the needs around contact center.
Sure, absolutely. So one of the things that we're pretty excited about here at the show is we are actually offering another layer of contact center functionality on our platform. What we're seeing, and what I like to call the evolution of the small business, mm-hmm. where every business is starting to need, if you will, some sort of contact center functionality, because small and medium businesses in general are now wearing multiple hats, and so instead of having just a standard PBX and then having somebody else do all of their call center functionality, they're also wanting to act, very much mm-hmm. act and perform like a standard call center. So the thing that we see in our space is primarily that our customers, who are service providers, when they sell into the end user, they are in essence being asked to provide not only phone system functionality, but on top of that, integrated into that contact center and call center functionality, rather than what historically has happened is that has been serviced by two different technologies. You'd have a call center piece of equipment mm-hmm. for your call center functionality, and you have a piece of equipment for your phone system or any of your unified communications. What we're seeing is a need to converge all of that.
Is that a question of technology driving the business or business driving technology?
So I think it's probably a bit of both. One of the drivers, I think, is that I think people are just getting smarter in with respect to being more efficient in terms of how they run, mm-hmm. Run their businesses. So really, from that perspective, it's the business driving it, because the business owner is now saying, instead of having inside and outside roles, they're trying to create these hybrid roles where one person is doing many things to try to be as efficient as possible. Obviously, over the last 10 years, with the change in the economic environment, everybody's trying to do more with less.
Sure.
So from that perspective, definitely it's a business driver. From a technology standpoint, I think the advents in new technology and the commoditization of a lot of hardware has just allowed for it to basically inject itself more into the market a lot faster.
Well, see, you bring up the point about commoditization of really voice services, especially on the small end of the market.
Yep.
And a lot of recent conversation that I've had is really focusing on, or vendors and service providers focusing on how to differentiate themselves. Mm-hmm. So now, by being able to integrate this contact center functionality into the voice systems for the businesses, that seems to me to be a differentiator for you, whereas, as you said, traditionally it would have required two different vendors, potentially two different platforms, and all the nightmares that go along with it.
Yeah, that's correct, and so that's why we've seen it as an evolution. We always had some level of call center functionality in our platform. What we're showing at this particular show is, like I said, another level of advancement, so that it can all be provided off of a single solution. Now, our providers have the flexibility to just say, okay, how much of this contact center functionality do I want to provide mm-hmm. as a part of my hosted PBX solution? But at the same time, it gives them the ability to integrate it. And at the same time, they a lot of our customers are requesting, if you will, the need to integrate with other third-party pieces of technology that are needed for a call center, Salesforce.com or some sort of a CRM that needs to integrate. But yeah, it's very much about differentiation.
Well, that's right, and that now you're getting to the. I think what's kind of at the heart of the matter is that you've got all your CRM systems, your CRM platforms, and other business software systems that everybody just needs to integrate in a customer-centric society that we're in. You've got to be able to integrate all of those points of contact and all those data points and data sources in order to create the greatest value. And again, comes back to differentiation with whatever your product set is for your customers.
Yeah, and so I think the main driver there is to make sure that whether it's Netsapiens or whichever vendor that the service provider looks at, is to make sure that it's an open and flexible platform that allows you to do that integration, because no one vendor is going to be able to provide the level of sophistication that you're going to need in each of the different areas. Salesforce.com is a great example. It's such a sophisticated platform, and it's been around for so many years, and it's so embedded into the customer base that a lot of people have built their businesses around it. So it's very important that companies like Netsapiens and the service providers that use our platform are able to integrate with something like that.
How much has the growth of the mobile workforce and mobility changed what you've had to do on Netsapiens?
I think that's a great question. The main thing is that the mobility piece was already happening. We saw it happening when we started the company, but what has happened, I think, in more of a hockey stick fashion, probably over the last 5 years, is the fact that the devices themselves have become that much more powerful. They have become that much more commodity-based, and so it's just become a standard way of doing business now. So we don't necessarily see having to create a silo for mobile. We just see mobile as an extension of the user experience. Right? So everything that we do has to have some level of mobile integration, if you will, and that's drives our roadmap. And we'll be seeing some new mobile advents here soon from our platform also.
Is there a mobile impact on the contact center elements that we talked about earlier?
Yeah, there is. The requirements that we're seeing is that a lot of folks want to take really specialized use cases on the road with them. So let's say I've got a call center supervisor that has to go out for lunch break, but needs an escalation, if you will, and needs to know that an escalation that comes through to their cell phone is of immediate need. Right? How do you distinguish that? So that level of functionality has to be built in to the platform that is servicing these devices. So that's just one example. I mean, it's becoming more and more common. Even the guys, when we're out and about doing what we need to do, even from a technology perspective, everybody's using that device to communicate from a call center perspective. So, the impact is pretty obvious now, just because of the usage and the use case that's there. We don't necessarily see it. I mean, it's something that's already here, rather than something that's coming. So we need to build around it and just make sure that the usability of the platform from a mobile standpoint just gets better and better and better.
I think the usability of the platform probably is critical for you, considering the smaller end of the market that you're servicing.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's the biggest differentiator for us today. Is we are focused on doing a lot of UX design and really understanding what the end user needs and trying to simplify that user experience. So that is a critical factor for us.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Anand, for joining me here today.
All right, appreciate it.